Imagine a judge, a chief justice, looks out at a generation of young people struggling to find work, crushed under the weight of a broken examination system, and calls them cockroaches. And then imagine that generation said, "Fine, we'll be cockroaches." Watch what cockroaches do. They organized, they marched, they named their political movement after the slur. And within months, the Union Education Minister of the world's largest democracy had resigned. Sound familiar? We've done this before. Almost beat for beat. Here's what happened in Paris, 1968, when Charles de Gaulle, war hero, towering statesman, the man who saved France, looked at his country's students and called them insects. And in doing so, handed them the most powerful weapon in the world, his contempt. This is the story of how one man's dismissal of an entire generation nearly brought down the Fifth Republic. And it is, uncomfortably, a precise map of what is happening right now. Paris in the spring of 1968 was beautiful and suffocating. The economy was booming on paper. De Gaulle had modernized France, stabilized the franc, restored national dignity after the humiliation of occupation. He was 77 years old, a monument to himself, a man so large he seemed permanent, like the Eiffel Tower, but with opinions about everyone. And the young, the children of post-war France, the first generation to grow up in prosperity, were furious. Not because they were starving, because they were bored and constrained and being funneled into a university system that treated them like product on a conveyor belt. French universities in 1968 were overcrowded, rigid, and run by administrators who treated students as problems to be managed, not minds to be educated. Sound familiar? Stay with it. The flashpoint was the University of Nanterre, a grey concrete campus dropped into a suburb of Paris like a punishment. Students there were protesting everything: the Vietnam War, sexual repression on campus, the sheer deadness of official France. On March 22nd, a group of them occupied the university's administrative building. The university closed them down. But it didn't stop them. It spread to the Sorbonne. On May 3rd, the rector, panicked, called in the police to clear the campus. The police did what police do when they are nervous and outnumbered by angry 20-year-olds. They swung batons. Paris erupted. Within a week, the Latin Quarter was a battlefield. Students pulled up cobblestones, those beautiful ancient Parisian cobblestones, and stacked them into barricades. They torched cars. They fought riot police through the night. The air smelled of tear gas and burning rubber, and something else, possibility. And 10 million workers went on strike in solidarity. 10 million! France ground to a halt. Petrol stations ran dry. Factories fell silent. The Paris Stock Exchange was stormed. For a few extraordinary days, it was genuinely unclear whether the government would survive. Now here is where de Gaulle enters the story. And here is where he makes his fatal error. He dismissed them. Not publicly at first. Privately, to his ministers, he called the students chien lit, an untranslatable French word that means, roughly, the mess you make in your own bed. He called them insects. He called them rabble. He genuinely could not conceive that these children, his children, in a sense, the France he had rebuilt, could threaten anything real. On May 24th, he went on television to address the nation. He was wooden, distracted. He offered a referendum that no one had asked for. He looked for the first time like an old man who didn't understand the room. He then, secretly, flew to Germany to check that the French army would back him if things collapsed. The man who stared down Hitler needed to quietly make sure his own generals wouldn't let France fall. He came back. He rallied his supporters, and there were many. France was not only its students. A countermarch of Gaullists filled the Champs-Élysées. The workers began returning to their factories after wage agreements. The crisis slowly deflated, but something had broken. De Gaulle called his referendum the following year, April 1969, on the relatively minor issue of regional reform. He framed it as a confidence vote. He lost it. He resigned the next morning, never gave another speech, never explained himself. Retired to his village in northeastern France and died 18 months later. The man who had been France, who was France, who had told the French people they were great when everything said otherwise, was brought down not by a rival, not by scandal, not by foreign pressure. He was brought down by the students he had called insects. The insects had won. Now snap back to 2026. India, the NEET examination. The single gateway exam for medical admissions had become a symbol of everything broken about opportunity in the country. Leaks, corruption, a system that seemed designed to crush aspiration rather than reward it. And a few weeks before that, the Chief Justice of India, from the bench, called unemployed youth cockroaches. Here is the thing about calling people cockroaches. You think you are expressing contempt. What you are actually doing is offering them an identity. Because a cockroach, it turns out, is unkillable. A cockroach survives everything. If you're trying to insult people who feel powerless, maybe don't reach for the creature that outlived the dinosaurs. They called their party the Cockroach Janta Party. They organized the NEET protest in Delhi. The education minister resigned. Beat for beat, dismissal, organization, resignation. Here is the original insight I want to leave you with, because I think it is genuinely underappreciated. The insult only works as a weapon when the powerful believe it. De Gaulle called students insects because he truly could not imagine them mattering. The Chief Justice called youth cockroaches because he genuinely did not believe they had power. That belief, that absolute sincere contempt, is what makes the insult so useful to the people it targets. Because contempt is not a strategy, it is a confession. When the powerful call the powerless vermin, they are telling you exactly how frightened they are not. They are showing you the gap in the armor. They are saying, I have not taken you seriously enough to be afraid of you. And that, historically, is the most dangerous thing a powerful person can say. Every generation of young people inherits a world they did not build, containing problems they did not cause, and is then asked, sometimes ordered, to be quiet about it. And every generation, eventually, is not. The students of 1968 did not read history. They were history. They pulled up cobblestones and threw them, and the echo has not stopped. So the next time someone in power reaches for an animal metaphor to describe the young, the unemployed, the inconvenient, watch what happens next. Because history has a very consistent answer. The vermin always vote. The insects always organize. And the cockroaches outlive everyone. If history rhyming with itself is your kind of thing, subscribe. There's a lot more rhyming to do. And tell me in the comments, what story should we match next? What's happening right now that feels like something that happened before? Because I promise you, it has.